Okay. Let's try something a little different with our deck. Let's try the Skellige nonsense. Can I sort these by faction? There's just these. No, that's wrong. Because Arnjalf is also Skellige. Oh no. Just have to like mouse over them and look at the border colors. Okay, maybe those are the only bronze ones. I don't think there's any other gold ones, right? I didn't realize this guy got loyal repeat deploy. That's crazy. Hey Nick, how you doing? Okay, let's do this. I'll drop the Isbell too. I shouldn't drop the Isbell, but I'll drop the Isbell. Let's play the Skellige cards. I need to craft. Wait, I can only play 3 of these? Is there no way to craft more? Wait, no! Oh, come on! Whatever, we'll figure this out. Might just keep the Isbell then. And then dagger. Hey, Baloo. Is there any way to replay dagger? You should never renew. At least not that I have. Now since I have no loyals, I can just use the horn. And the horn works better with the dagger. Whoops. I like AC, maybe? See with the blacksmith is pretty good. 2 blitz units. These things aren't blitz. Look at 5 cards from your deck and play 2, then discard the rest. Huh. Made money on Disney puts, but at what cost? I don't know, what was the cost? No, card's cool. I'm doing pretty good. Not playing Knickers. I mean, we can. I want to play a 3rd blacksmith. This card has to be bad. There's no way that card's good. I already go through my deck with the reinforcements. Recession was the cost. I mean, the recession's not your fault. Strengthening by 10 is pretty good, I guess, if we're gonna be replaying these from the graveyard. I really have no way to replay my dagger. Or tutor my dagger. Can I increase trinket number? I could play another trinket if I wanted to. Which trinket would I want? Like, I don't even know which 3 I want. I can change my ability. Oh, I can change my ability. I can get this, the Warhammer. That way I'll always draw the dagger for round 2. I still can't replay the dagger, but I don't think anything here helps with that. This is my favorite Witcher card game. At the moment, yes. I don't know, let's try this. Let's try this. I don't know when the next battle is gonna be, but...
Let me tell you of Ravencloft, a quarry Meve passed by. A quarry with a dark history. For years earlier, its wall had collapsed, burying dozens of
you play 2 cards from your deck. 2 random cards from your deck.
In their findings. The rock was fragile, further digging would likely cause slides. Meve had heeded the scholar's advice and closed the quarry by royal decree. Yet now, as she neared it, Meve could hear the even tap of pickaxes. She dispatched scouts to investigate. They returned promptly, their faces sullen, their cloaks blanched with a fine limestone dust.
I've not been to Caldwell's residence.
Nilfgaardians. They've got folk in the pit working it. Appear to be from the surrounding villages.
Interesting. Their engineers have found a way to render it safe. Secure the walls.
I'd say that's right unlikely, Majesty. Judging by the fresh graves we saw.
My son, I trust now you see the superior culture Nilfgaard has brought.
Said Meve, turning towards Willem. In answer, the prince merely dropped his head. The queen then turned to Reynard, as ever at her side.
Reynard, what do you advise?
As a soldier, my queen, I'd advise against any kind of assault. The terrain's hard, unsuitable for a fight, and we've little to gain from a victory. As a man, however...
Yes?
To leave our folk in chains, in that death trap. It wouldn't be right.
I mean, we just built a deck.
If I were to calculate
we'll play our deck.
Heart and mind, keep note of gains and losses,
began Meve.
I'd bend the knee to the Imperials, just as Willem did. But bloody arithmetic won't dictate my course, for I do what's just. I do what's right. Follow me!
Her troops followed without hesitation, swords in hand, their hearts afire.
Meve had expected easy victory. From her scout's reports, she had learned the Lyrians held a considerable numerical advantage over the invading forces, yet the Queen had not foreseen one critical Nilfgaardian strategy: the use of chained captives to fight opposite their own countrymen. Eliminate all slave drivers. Does this deck even work in shortened battles? I may have made a mistake. Where's an enemy? 2 damage. Disgraced brawler. Disgraced warrior by its power. Then damage that enemy by disgraced warrior's power. Wait, these cards are bad. Whatever.
Those Horsons, forcing my own subjects to fight us.
Oh! Order!
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Make this bigger.
Life is mine now.
Probably get this down.
Watch your heads.
What do these do? Nothing.
Wise choice.
Your Grace, if we begin killing the overseers, the laborers will turn against them.
Death is only the beginning!
There's no rush to get the adepts down. Those things all do their thing once.
This one's got spirit.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
Oh no, the AI's thinking.
Catch him! He's worth 20 florins!
We're gonna access these buffed units in our deck. Good old reinforcements.
Used to be I hunted game. Men bring more coin.
If you could stop playing these, that'd be kind of nice. Okay, that's all the slave drivers dead.
The overseers are dead, Your Grace.
Oh, the battle just ends with that? Okay,
The Lyrians handily dispatched the Nilfgaardian overseers,
whatever.
more trained in the ways of the whip than the sword. Those who survived now found themselves shackled in the very chains they'd forced the peasants to wear. Peasants.
I was worried about like getting the slave driver to live for a turn.
The cruel labor in the quarry had taken its toll. They stood before the queen, shrunken to skin and bone, clothed in tattered rags, their eyes reddened by dust. But in those eyes burned a brilliant fire.
Your Grace, them black clads treated us like dogs, stripped us of dignity. So we beg you, give us arms. Let us march neath your banner. 'Tis a chance at revenge we seek, we want.
Reynard leaned towards Meave and spoke in a scarcely audible whisper.
Majesty, they've knout. Not boots, not even foot wraps. To equip the lot, train them, would cost a small fortune.
Yeah, like, that's nothing.
'Tis true. They've knout to their names.
Said the queen.
Have few skills to offer and little strength. But to look in their eyes is to know they'll never flee. Never throw down their arms. Such recruits are worth coin in any amount.
Emaciated, downtrodden, the peasants met the queen's offer with gratitude. They relished the thought of facing their tormentors in a fight.
Whee! Maybe our cool Skellige deck will get to do cool Skellige things at some point. Where am I going? Across the bridge.
Meave's force reached Cavaldon, a small, run-down town.
The Blackclads, they've a strong garrison in place,
Proclaimed her scouts upon returning from a foray.
and they stand prepared for a siege. Their
Muzzle.
stores
Oh,
are on
I
the
should have.
floor,
I should have.
And we've seen ballistas, scorpions.
Cavalden can be taken,
began Reynard hesitantly.
but not without losses. Considerable losses.
A retreat. Is that what you advise?
I fear the soldiers wouldn't take to such a course. They're eager, Your Grace. They've a fire in them. Order a retreat and you could devastate morale.
Our losses may be heavy,
Said Neve, drawing her sword.
but I'll make certain the vile invader suffers even more. Order the troops to prepare. We will attack.
Soon after, the Lyrians moved on Cavalden, war drums rumbling in step to their march.
I just built a deck.
Upon the walls, the Nilfgaardians stood
Just let me
poised
play
to
my
defend.
deck. When the Lyrians approached the walls of Cavalden, they were greeted with a hail of bolts and arrows. The Nilfgaardians had made clear they had no intention of surrendering the city without a fight. Yet, if they believed such a tactic sufficient to discourage Maeve's siege, a harsh truth awaited them. Just skip every fight and finish the game, but I don't wanna. This card is so bad. Guess it works well with these, though. Whatever.
I won't leave a single city to these invader scum! Valyria! For Rivia!
As you wish,
Which one do I want? Like, this just does nothing. I guess I want Disgraced Brawler. Oh, the Disgraced Warrior gets bigger. Okay.
Ha!
My, now that is some fancy weaponry. Bet it's still got that new war machine smell.
We must bring down their walls! Crush them!
Hey.
Wise choice.
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Order!
Catch!
Ha!
Okay. I just need him to not kill this Disgraced Warrior.
Come on, kill me!
In retreat!
Surely this is enough points.
That's today the day. Yeah! Come on, kill me!
That was 11 power. Let's just wait till next turn. This doesn't do anything.
Life is mine now. Hey, don't toss that. It's perfectly usable.
13 armor, 15 armor, 9 armor, 17 armor, 17 armor, 11 armor. Why am I playing these Skellige cards again? I'm doing pretty good.
Of course, as you wish, master. May the square hands here! Time I wiped it away!
God, am I not gonna have enough points? Oh no.
So much anger.
Okay, Isabel,
and
don't die.
For
Right.
what?
There's no point in using this. Is it worth suiciding one of these in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's worth one more point to suicide it in.
Grotto dum anime est. Des est.
Oh, and this deals 57 damage to... Yeah, okay. Cool. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Still worth the suicide one in. Should have done that first, but yikes.
My prescription, a bit of blood.
Why is there so much armor? What do you want me to do? Oh my god. Get me out of here. Get me out of here. I give up. I just wanted to do cool Skellige things. Cool Skellige things are trash. In single round battles, at least. Maybe they're the nuts in multi-round battles, but there's not enough of those. These. And then drop the ointment. Or what's muzzle do? Sees an enemy in it. And let's get back to this.
Mee's force reached,
Cavalden can be taken.
Okay, and let's just
Disgruntled soldiers I far prefer to dead ones.
said the Queen.
Sound the retreat. We'll fight another
let's
day.
try to avoid the
I can
fight.
promise them that.
Oh, I have to do this. Wait, is this the way forward? Pretty sure I have to do this fight.
The Lyrians.
Wondering. I'm eventually gonna have to, right?
Disgruntled soldiers.
Yeah, okay.
The Lyri.
Our losses may be heavy,
Said me, drawing her sword.
Where did our
but I'll
scytheman
make
go?
certain the vile invaders.
Pretty sure I put the
suffer even
scytheman
more.
back in.
Order the troops to prepare. We will attack.
Soon after, the Lyrians moved on Cavalden. war drums rumbling in step to their march.
Oh, that fight wasn't bad luck.
On the
Don't
walls,
worry about
the
that.
Nilfgaardians stood poised to defend.
Don't worry about that. Okay, I underread this already. Bomber the back row. Do I need Arbalists? I'm gonna dig and find more Aretuzas. Yeah, this is fine.
I won't leave a single city to these invader scum! Valyria! For Rivia!
My, now that is some fancy weaponry. And it's still got that new war machine smell.
Okay, let's just not worry about that thing.
Wise choice.
We must bring down their walls! Crush them!
We'll get this down. Oh, I didn't change this. It's probably fine. It'll only cost us like a couple 100 points.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans. As you wish, milady.
Use me flail stack or units into fire. Because I gotta just protect my things so they don't die. When the Scythemen live, you get so much value.
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
I'll wait a turn just so that we get all the Scythemen out. And we Hensel.
Should have listened to me, old lady. My spirit's willing and how, but some boots are killing me. Should have listened to me, old lady.
Yeah, but you know what else is fun? This.
Life is mine now. This could hurt. Of course, as you wish, master.
What's the beefy lad in my hand do? Replay is a trinket. So in 3-round games, I can reinforcements twice, and in this one I get to marching orders twice. So, let's go and make a bunch of points. It's not this one. I like how I have long enough and then just pretend this deck is... It's removal, man. You gotta have removal in your decks. Look, it's not my fault. These were starter cards. If they didn't want you to use them, they wouldn't have made them starter cards.
Hey, don't toss that. It's perfectly usable.
highly curious case.
He's thinking real hard. It's not him abusing courage, the game wants him to abuse them. Exactly. Tired of Thronebreaker? Not really.
Grotto dum anima est, fes est.
We did it, Your Grace. The city is ours.
Not any more tired of it than I was on, like, day one.
The Nilfgaardians had indeed prepared well, with grapples to repel hook ladders from the walls and
Like, the
long
battles are still
spears
kind
to
of lame,
rain
but
down upon
it's
attackers
whatever.
far below.
Not really playing it for the
Managed on
battles.
Fourth attempt to breach the defenses, but did so scrambling over the corpses of her own men.
I guess the
Queen
puzzles
was
have
in a
gotten
field
worse,
tent
too,
when
but-
Reynard arrived with surprising news.
Whatever.
To be heard over the groans of the wounded, he had to raise his voice.
Your Grace, a delegation of townsfolk.
Well,
They
for a
seek
while I
an
was playing it for
audience
the
urgently.
puzzles.
Dozens of burghers stood before the tent. Between them and the Queen, a man knelt in shackles. His face was blooded as if he'd endured a vicious beating just moments before.
Who's this?
Our blacksmith, Todor.
Snarled a priestess in a frayed robe.
He betrayed you, Your Grace. Soon after the Nilfgaardians arrived, within hours in truth, he offered his labor and strength. They didn't even need to ask. Forged arms and armor for them, all for imperial gold.
Meave gripped the beaten man's beard, tugged upwards, and looked him in the eyes.
Did you forge the hooks and the tips for those spears?
I did, Your Grace.
It was fine work.
Growled the Queen.
Damned fine.
Show him mercy, milady!
Cried a withered old man in a flour-spattered apron.
When the black-clad bastards captured my son, they were eager to hang him. Todor spoke for him, saved his life.
I mean, this
Yeah,
and Gwent
me
aren't really
too.
comparable.
Hollered a woman
The
in
Gwent in this
crowd.
game is pretty terrible.
hungry. He shared what little he had.
The townsfolk began shouting over one another.
Thronebreaker better or worse?
Some told of the blacksmith's noble deeds. Others labeled him a traitor,
Oh,
deserving
God.
of a cruel and violent end. Meave turned back towards
I
the
think I
field
like the
instead,
storytelling in
pondering the case,
Thronebreaker better.
Then spotted her soldiers' corpses laid out in rows. Had it not been for Todor,
I
there might not have
think
been
I might
so
actually like the gameplay in
many.
Witcher better,
Willem's
and I wasn't
voice
really big on the
pierced
gameplay in
air,
Witcher.
replete with tension.
My offences were far graver, yet you showed me compassion.
Well, definitely not killing him. I guess lashed is fine. I don't really want people cooperating with the Nilfgaards, but
20 soldiers died today, wresting Cavaldon from Nilfgaard's grip.
Said Meave, her tone cold and unforgiving.
'Twas your iron that
So
felled them.
interesting.
'Twill be your blood that pays the debt.
yeah, it's
5
not really a
lashes for each of
controversial
the fallen.
opinion.
Todor's torture.
It's just so disappointing, because like for a lot of people this was their introduction to Gwent.
Blows.
And I can't imagine wanting to
Amazing
go to the
that
multiplayer
Todor
game
survived
after
the
playing this.
ordeal. But his body had been broken. He'd never put hammer to anvil again, and spent the
Oh,
rest
what?
of his days a beggar.
I didn't want to ruin the man's life. Fuck.
Freedom will cost us. Freedom will...
Your Majesty, the hut's untouched. Ripe grain in the fields, 'tis hard to believe. I feared we'd have another Edirn here, with the black-clads setting fire to all.
I feared nothing of the sort.
I see a
Nilfgaard's
puzzle.
not stupid. Lands it aims to hold, it doesn't destroy. And Willem did bend the knee to the Emperor.
It's probably worse than killing him. I know, right? What the fuck? Thought it was the merciful option. Valyrian force came across an abandoned farmhouse. Shattered windows, traces of blood in the dirt, unattended cows trampling grain. Meave suspected either Nilfgaardians or bandits, reveling in the realm's chaotic state, were to blame for the village's disappearance. The true culprits, however, were rather unexpected. Destroy all enemy units. Ranged cows will devour anything. Swap any 2 units. I do pay attention to the dialogues. Come on. You can't accuse me of not paying attention to the dialogues on that one. I knew what I was selecting. Turn on turn start. Gain 1 counter if this unit is consumed. Damage the consuming unit. No ability. Return on turn start. Consume the unit in front of this one and move 1 position to the left. Unit in front of this one, move to the right. What's my goal? Destroy the enemy units. Choose a rotting corpse and increase its counter. So I can swap the cows, I can swap the other things. Oh, but it's just units, so I can't swap the corpses. Yeah. Yeah, the cows are immune. But why is that a hint? I mean, I know I'm bad at reading, but I can read the card. Sometimes. So what? This will go to... Okay, how does this work? If I do this, that goes to 2. The cow will consume it. It becomes a hut. And the timers all advance. So now this will be... This will damage the cow for 2. So the Scytheman dies here. He's killed this cow. Can get this to 5. Wait. Oh, it grows when it uses Scytheman. That makes sense. So this thing's gonna grow to 5. What does swapping do for me? I can only swap units. Is there a way to, like, damage my Scytheman? Now I'm beginning to think there's more to that hint, because now I'm kind of confused. Okay, so what happens if I just do this? Oh, I can swap with the huts? Okay. The cow doesn't eat. Okay. So what? If we poison here... That happens, then we swap this here. That eats, we swap this here. is all pretty arbitrary at this point, right? Oh, it doesn't move, it doesn't consume. Okay. Not arbitrary. So I need to let this one die. But aside from that... I need 2 swaps here. Okay. Okay. I get it now. So I want this one to not die. This one can die. And then we want to kill this. And then we do this. Oh. Interesting. And it doesn't consume this turn either. So I need to keep it moving. Can I swap these with the corpses? I can. I don't know why it looked like I couldn't do that earlier. Wait. Oh yeah, that isn't grayed out. It just looks grayed out. Okay. Swap. This is a 2. How do I... So I need to get this one to not eat this. So I want this to eat the rotting corpse. This eats here, goes to 3. And then I swap again. I think this works. Okay. Okay. That was silly. That was my bad. I feel like there were a few times I got gotcha'd there. My queen, this pit is full of bodies. Locals claim they were murdered by Nilfgaardian forces, killed because they sought to join your army. Hey, Sensei.
Broadhead now loomed before Meve and her force. Once famous for its glowing forges and clanking manufactories, the city now stood silent. Why, you might ask? Because...
I mean, once we figured out what the legal actions were, I don't think that puzzle was hard.
Decades past, it had opened its gates to human merchants and dwarven arms, exquisitely crafted and not nearly as dear as those made by man. The caravans had simply stopped coming to Broadhead. When its black-clad garrison spotted the Lyrians approaching, they'd hastily fled, left the city's gates open wide. Yet, they did not leave empty-handed. Their convoy comprising at least a dozen wagons loaded ostensibly to the hilt.
With what might they have fled?
With something damn heavy.
Replied Gascon, squinting his eyes.
Look at this. 2 horses to pull each wagon, and the wheels cut deep into the road.
Just a few months past 'twas we who fled the black-clad hordes.
Said Meve, her tone and mien betraying disgust.
Now our roles stand reversed. We are the aggressor. Well, let them run, I say. And let all Rivia see Nilfgaard tuck tail, rather than face us in a fight.
The Queen strode towards the open gates, slowly, deliberately, wondering still what spoils the invader had carried off. Crumbling walls, shattered windows.
How important could
wood.
it be?
Broadhead was bleak, a dull shadow of its former self. As the Lyrians entered, the somber townsfolk glared at the arrivals and uttered not a word. That is, until they saw Willem and began to hiss and growl. Neve resolved to address the crowd.
Folk of Broadhead, you're free at last. The Nilfgaardian occupation is done.
Aye, and a new one starts now.
Are you madman? Don't you recognize our banners? The Lyrian army stands before you.
Oh, I recognise banners. Served neath them as a sergeant 15 long years. And then I came back to my own town. Know what I found? Hardship and squalor, your grace. All had gone to shite. On account of damn dwarves. Been flooding Rivia with their metal goods for years now. Us smiths don't so much as light their pipes in their foundries no more. You call yourselves the Lyrian army. Colours and banners confirm it. Well, what about your arms? Weren't forged in us fires, but in Mahakams. By us worst foes. Hell, I even see some at knobheads in your ranks.
Where am I up to?
And right
I think it's
behind,
the last area.
Prince Willem, who bent a knee to blackclads not long past. So what freedom's it you're giving us, your grace? Freedom to beg in common, not in Nilfgaard's mongrel tongue.
Beg? What do you want about, man?
There's no levy on goods from Mahakam. But without it, us workshops don't stand a chance. And ye, your grace, you wear their armour, bear their arms, and bring bearded bastards to our doorstep.
Dwarves are our allies, man.
The dwarves are faithful allies. They help us because...
'Cause they've got something to gain. Simple as that.
Enough. Silence. Consider yourself lucky you've a merciful queen. I'd have had your head off by now. Move along.
Before Meve could leave the market square, Barnabas politely interjected.
Frankly speaking, there's a bit of truth to what the man says.
I'm perfectly aware of that. But what do you want?
I don't mean to toot my own horn, but perhaps I might be of some help.
Do tell how. I'm all ears.
Everything your folk make here, the dwarves of Mahakam make twice as fast and twice as well. You must find a so-called niche, an innovation. And it just so happens innovations
Are your speciality.
at the risk of being immodest. Exactly. Besides, it might serve the cause of peace to show the folk here, non-humans, are not all bad, that they can help. Not just steal human jobs and piss in their milk.
I'll consider it, Barnabas. I shall think and let you know.
The time came to leave Broadhead, so Meve summoned her advisors, eager to hear their counsel. They put forth ideas, many of merit, but the Queen would decide the city's future.
Ooh, can entrust the city's future to Barnabas? What could go wrong?
After careful deliberation, the Queen approved Barnabas's proposal. He would manage the city's ailing industry
Thronebreaker overall
and
is
seek
fine.
to restore
Having
it
fun.
to health.
Barnabas, just please, do your best not to blow it all up.
Don't you worry, Your Grace. The only boom in this town's future is that of the economic sort.
At first, the Rivian townsfolk were skeptical of the Queen's decision, but Barnabas's schemes bore immediate fruit. Soon the foundries and manufactories were bustling with life. Before long, Meve herself received new goods produced there.
Banishing Barnabas. I mean, I wasn't using him anyway.
I'm no ally of gnomes or any freaks, but now I'm no ally of gnomes or any freaks, but this Barnabas bloke.
Your Majesty, some townfolk have requested an audience. Their relatives made for the mountains of Mahakam not long ago in search of gold, though they've since received no word back. They ask whether you know of their fate. I believe these gold seekers to be of the same Rivians who you caught thieving and handed over to the dwarves. What shall we tell their families? Sure. You've got all the gold in the world. Might as well use it, right? Did I miss any? I missed a point of interest. We'll grab that real quick. Oh, my queen, we found a sizable store of gold under the floorboards of the dwelling. It appears someone has hidden their life savings. What shall we do with it? Leave it for the owner should he ever return, or load it onto our wagons? Yeah, give me the card piece. Gimme, gimme. Dragon's Dream. That's a fight. What else is there? Let's go to this puzzle. Oh, is it the puzzle I did already? No. It's the notice board that was grayed out. I mean, freeing each individual town is kind of a waste of time, right? You just free them all at once when you take the capital. Once General Abdai seized Rivia, he ordered an immediate census of the conquered population. At first, many thought the Nilfgaardian had planned to raise taxes, but the truth was, in fact, much worse. Before long, villages and settlements were visited by slave drivers. There was no hiding from them. They knew of every soul living there. Eliminate the slave drivers, do not let any unit die, and use your leader ability. Yeah, and I'm making the most efficient decisions. Damage by slave driver, damage the lowest enemy by 1. If this unit's power is higher than slave driver, transform slave driver into a corpse. Wait, what? So I can set this to 4. But they're wait, it's immune. Oh, I buff this up. So what? We go Scytheman, leader, horse thief. I have time to do all this? I might just want to do this first. Pretty sure this works. I don't think I need to use slave driver twice. Oh, right. My things take damage, that's a problem. Okay. I didn't need to do it twice.
Should have listened to the old lady.
Is there any coin in his pockets? Or his own?
I put this on the wrong side. Okay.
Aye.
Stick 'em up, high as the clouds. Now!
If anyone asks, you've not seen me.
Okay. I want to just play the other alchemist. Does anything matter at this point? Just have to wait.
There's been a mistake.
Can make
I'm
this
no mage.
bigger, I guess.
Pointy end upwards, right?
I guess that's a puzzle. I guess there's a little trickery there. I can't complain too much about that one. The boosting your unit to swap with the enemy unit.
Rivia Castle. Seems our journey nears its end.
That end could yet prove tragic. We've daunting tasks ahead. Pride. It's all I ever felt pondering those walls. Yet now, to behold them from below, I truly do wish we hadn't built them so tall.
Your Majesty, priestess who cares for this temple, has in her possession a fragment of a magical object. Could prove useful to us, yet she refuses to part with it, no matter the generosity of the offer. What shall we do? That's literally nothing. DD! There are things I like about it. Oh. Section end. I'm approaching an important moment in my journey. Okay, should I go back and do some of the optional battles? Is it actually important? DD going back to his roots. In the game. I'll do like one or two of them, since it looks like we have plenty of time. You did see Gurney. It's a standard battle. When the scouts returned with the information that Nilfgaardian slavers had set up camp nearby, Neve let out a heavy sigh. She knew she must free her subjects, yet she also knew that when threatened, the Blackclads, whips in hand, would turn those very subjects against her. Whatever.
As you wish, milady.
Scrubbing duty again? Oh, gods.
On to the next turn. What are the odds I completely shift up my deck the next part of the adventure? Is there another part? I thought we were like near the end.
One vote. I believe to your command. I'm a war servant.
Wise choice.
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Good ol' AI thinking. You can do it. There we go. You figured it out. And we hit him with the old time saver 2-0. Well, let's get this down first, just in case there's like one of the yoink cards.
These school loans.
New orders? No? Should have listened to me, old lady.
Oh, I still didn't fix my leader ability. Or fix my trinket.
But what?
As you wish, milady.
I smell a leak.
We'll probably play Gwent for at least a few days. I don't know. I'm not against playing Dark Souls. Oh, I don't have the tutor dude. Oh, shit. Okay. Whoops. Dark Souls is a card game. When they kill a unit of yours, it burns the card into the craft again. Sounds cool. I'd be down.
You mad? Don't shake that! Fight for the Emperor and you might be freed!
One boat's all I need.
I don't know if this time saver 2.0 is gonna work this time. We're missing an important combo piece.
To work!
Wanna know why I got my star?
Back to our roots and play Duel Links. Mobile gaming, Monka S.
Obedience or the lash!
Uh, 66% of the units. It's on mobile games, plays Gwent. I remember when Gwent wasn't a mobile game.
Source of the desperate.
Okay, we just gotta we just gotta draw our blacksmith and one of our many scythemen. What can go wrong? Oh my god, you're ahead. Just click the pass button. Stop thinking. Okay, good. Okay, good. Actually good.
101, 102, 103.
So I have to worry about this potentially getting yoinked. If he plays this thingy. So let's do this first. We'll play the first one.
Something from nothing. It's exactly what I do.
Back in line!
Okay, and that means we're safe.
This happens. Reaping black-clad heads.
That will do.
We.
My spirit's willing and all, but it's killing me. Should have listened to me, old lady. My spirit's willing and all, but damn boots are killing me. Should have listened to me, old lady.
This one's got spirit.
Broken? Nah. This isn't broken. They're starter cards. Why would starter cards be broken? Did I get anything for that? Why did we do that fight? See you, Vadia. I'll stop at my trinket before I forget to do that again. Yeah, we'll just advance.
The castle of Rivia now loomed before the Lyrians. Water surrounded it on 3 sides, and dual defensive walls studded with podgy turrets completed its perimeter. It was famously difficult to take, and had changed hands only once. A few months before, when traitors opened its gates to the Nilfgaardians. Foreign banners waved upon the walls. The Golden Sun and General Epdahi's crest on Rivia's walls. The walls of home. There was somber silence among the troops, the glee and pride of many triumphs suddenly gone. For each knew if the Queen ordered an assault, most would lie dead by sunrise.
Your Majesty,
began Reynard in a reassuring tone.
We needn't strike quickly. We've time on our side. To prepare would be wise. 2 months, I wager. Perfectly enough.
Off the books.
With stop supplies
King
from
of
getting
Beggars.
through, they'll capitulate, I've little doubt. Or at worst, be too weak to defend the fortress.
Reynard's reasoning was sound. There was no need for urgency. Meve had the upper hand for the first time in this war.
These invaders have grown fond of Rivia Castle,
said Meve.
so let them stay and rot. Reynard, erect road barricades and guard posts between city and citadel.
I played it earlier
Yes,
this season. It was
seize
going
all
well,
boats,
but that was
barges, anything that floats.
like almost
Stop
2 weeks
anything
ago.
from entering from the lake. Move.
Soon, Rivia Castle stood isolated from the world outside its walls. All roads leading to it were blocked, impassable. Fishing boats, a cordon, embraced the fortress on Loch Escalot. The lanterns on their bows glowed like fireflies in summer. Then, an emissary from the castle brought a message for the Queen. General Epdahi wished to meet, face to face, and half the way between the citadel and the Lyrian camp.
Well, well, some general.
Smirked Gascon.
We've barely snapped the trap shut, yet he's already shaking in his knickers.
Be on your guard, Mother.
Said Willem.
Epdahi I know better than anyone here. The man always has a trick up his sleeve.
We've a few of our own. Sleeves and tricks. But I thank you for the warning and concern.
Meve proceeded to the meeting point without delay. A lone rider soon appeared on the horizon. He came adorned in rich black robes, their golden trim shimmering in stray sunbeams. She'd seen him before. In Edirn, through the megascope.
You came as I requested. Good. Very good.
I couldn't possibly refuse such a courteous invitation, especially as compared to your previous missive. The art of diplomacy, you've improved your grasp.
Your realm fell quickly. I expended little strength in seizing it. This left me much time to study. But please, we must set aside this bitterness. I'd like to formally welcome you to Rivia, dear Queen.
I see you've readily adopted the role of gracious host in my home.
In point of fact, I've grown fond of the castle. Fortifications impressive, atypical of the north. Not so your brave soldiers, whom we shall pick off like ducks. I pity them, in fact.
Dry your eyes, General. Rest easy. I've no plans for a quick assault. I shall first wait to hear the rumbling in your bellies.
Remarkable. You truly believe you can win this war? I've not been in the north long, but but have discovered something all the same. You don't grasp complex ideas. You know Nilfgaard is large, but your minds don't fathom its enormity. You see, for every army you defeat, another will come to take its place. One larger and better equipped than the one before. Even now, as we so pleasantly chat, Army Group East is en route to lift your siege, due to arrive tomorrow. And do you know what will happen when they do? They will crush you against your own castle's walls, like the maddening flea you are.
Enough. I'll not be insulted, General, nor intimidated.
Then I wish you a splendid night, Majesty. Get some rest. You'll need it tomorrow.
Indeed I will. For with raised visor, I shall be at the fore, unlike you.
In my home, in the civilized world, a general commands his force. He does not rush and thrash about like some rabid hound.
You're not at home, General. You're in the north, in my home. But you're right, I will rest. While you should pray to all your gods that we don't meet amidst the fray.
Without awaiting a response from General Dahi, Meve pivoted and turned toward camp. Her pace was quick, despite a heavy heart.
Don't have a map anymore. Oh no.
Gonna be one hell of a night! Ah! 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 Don't you dare sign! My axe craves blood! Nilfgaardian blood! Don't you dare sound the retreat, got it?
Good ol' Arnioff. No, we don't have Ike.
Meve's closest advisors already awaited her in the command tent. In a few brief words, the Queen gave a report of the meeting, only with great effort masking the quavering in her voice.
An army, an immense one, approaches from the west. If we meet in open battle, we stand not a chance.
Damn it! Why did no one warn me?
Our scouts were discovered, captured. It must be that.
Yes, it didn't seem right. Our way so clear, so untroubled.
We must flee? Not at all heroic, I admit, but sure as hell better than being trampled into the dirt.
Easily said, but for a problem. Our force is chiefly infantry. The army that draws near includes cavalry, several regiments. We cannot hope to escape them. We cannot hope to hide.
What do you advise?
We've two options. Capitulate,
Out of the question.
or take the castle. Tonight.
Suppose for a moment it's possible. Tell me how and at what cost. Are we to scale a mountain of comrades' corpses to reach the top of the wall? I know we're at war and many die. But to command our troops to take that citadel is to condemn them to certain death.
Rivia's walls are unassailable, I fully agree. But there's more than one way to take any fort, and this fort too.
I think I like where this is going.
I know this citadel like no one else. I know its one potential weakness. The boat landing.
Wait, that narrowest of piers between the two turrets? The one where the fishermen would land?
The same. As I'm sure you recall, Your Grace, at that narrow pier's end stands a narrow door leading straight into the fortress. A small detachment could approach unnoticed, overwhelm any sentries, and get inside.
What then?
They would need to pass through the fort to the winch in the guardhouse. Open the gate for the rest of the force.
That is suicide.
Perhaps. But as options go, we have it alone.
And I'm to choose to send folk there? Most certainly to die.
You needn't choose anyone, for I volunteer. And will take only those willing to do the very same.
Bloody wretched plan.
And you've a better one, do you?
Of course. I'll go instead.
Beg your pardon? I don't.
Face it, Reynard, you couldn't sneak past a corpse. Sound like a bloody tambourine in that armour, apart from which, you're Maeve's right hand. So you ought to be by her side when the fighting starts.
Well, I mean, Gaskin hasn't let me down yet.
I'm grateful. Well done, my friend.
Thank you, Your Grace.
But truth be told, I did indeed hear you walking to the tent from the other side of camp. And yes, you know Rivia Castle better than anyone else. But the assault must transpire silently. Gascon will lead the force.
Understood, Your Grace.
Cheers, Maeve. I'll try not to disappoint.
You won't, I'm sure. Godspeed you on your way, and please...
Oh no.
Try your damnedest not to die.
Not Godspeed. We know what happens when we tell someone Godspeed.
Daggers, not swords. Noiselessly, they glided through the dark toward the castle, the light of its lanterns blurred by the evening mist. Maeve watched anxiously as the boats glided away, her heart pounding in her ears. All depended on this mission. The fate of her realms, perhaps all the North, the lives of her troops, and her own. Now there was naught she could do but wait.
Good luck,
she whispered, gazing at the fortress walls, cloaked by the dark that seemed to surround all now.
The task was simple. Sneak into the castle, defeat the guards defending the winch, barricade themselves in the tower, and open the gate for the advancing Lyrian army. And then, no one spoke of what would happen next. There was no need. Use Gaskin to infiltrate the tower. Do not let Gaskin die. Use your leader's ability. When the enemy leader uses their ability, move one place to the right. When this unit reaches the rightmost side, return it to its original position. If Maeve's chosen hero is adjacent to this unit, transform into a Nilfgaardian pursuer. What the fuck? Oh god, not this again.
Nothing personal, I assure you.
I was checking the audio earlier and it sounded fine. Is anyone else thinking the game sounds are too quiet? What does the Nilfgaardian Pursuer do? Maeve uses her ability to decrease... Oh. Okay, so it does see it even if it's facing the other way. So it's not like the other one. I need to restart.
No, it can't be, not you.
Okay. Reaches the right side, return to its original position. So if I put this here, I can advance. This advances. Alright, I can destroy spotters. That makes things easier too. Put this here, advance. Destroy, advance, destroy. Move towards the tower. I guess this one will pass the tower and make it harder. Let me just make sure this works.
Wait, you're serious? You see to the winch! We'll hold them off!
Oh. Huh. There's no way to, like, not move, right? So what, I get spotted here. I can't go through this. Oh, I can go through this. No.
This must be it!
Okay.
Grab the winch! Open the gates!
I didn't think that was gonna work.
The Lyrians
I was about to
prepared for
restart.
battle.
I
Their
was
silence
really about to
absolute
restart.
In darkness, illuminated only by the pale light of the moon. Meve was restless. She paced nervously in a circular pattern, awaiting the signal they'd agreed upon.
Blast, it's taking long. Much, much too long.
Finally, a torch's faint glow appeared atop the towering walls. It disappeared, then glowed again, and one more time around. Meve leapt in the air, and as she did so, barely stifled a cry of utter joy.
They made it. It worked. Willem, it's time. Sound the horns. Attack!
Moments later, Lyrians in the hundreds burst from the trees.
He'll be
The
fine.
Nilfgaardian defenders loaded their catapults and ballistas.
When has Gaskin ever
Did
died
so
before?
slowly, convinced the castle walls remained impenetrable. Then they heard chains, grinding and clinking, and the sound sent shivers down their spines. Bewildered, they watched the main gate rise as the attacking force rushed forth. General Epdahi dispatched an elite unit to take back the winch at once. Yet he saw this was in vain and all was lost when Meve rode into the castle courtyard. Meve had begun the day known as a great warrior. Yet by night's end, legend was the cloak she wore. Her shield stopped powerful blow after blow as her blade found gaps in her foe's black armor. At first, Nilfgaardians scoured the fray in search of the Queen, hoping to prove great heroes. Soon, she was their chief scourge, and they began to flee before her blade that sung their death.
Retreat! Retreat!
What was this extraordinary vigor that surged through Meve? Naturally, she wished to liberate her castle and realm, drive off the invaders, defeat the arrogant General Epdahi. But in that moment, above all else, she longed to fight her way through to the guardhouse and bring Gascon's party relief.
Follow me! Move! Move!
As she stepped through the door into the tower, the silence told Meve she'd arrived too late.
No.
Gascon's men lay slaughtered in pools of their own blood. The man himself slumped over the winch's crank. 3 arrows in his chest rose and fell with his each ragged breath. Meve tore off her cloak and pressed it against him, desperate to stem the bleeding.
Help's on the way. Don't you even think of dying.
You know...
wheezed Gascon, a slight smirk on his lips.
I always enjoyed doing things just to spite you.
Medics on the stairs in the guardhouse, steps away, heard a long, blood-curdling wail. They entered the room to find the Queen kneeling, pounding the wall with her fists, her eyes flooded with tears. Gascon lay motionless beside her, covered by her cloak. The Queen rose, her fists clenched, her shoulders rigid, her knuckles white. Her face betrayed no sorrow, no despair, just rage, hot as a forge, immeasurable.
Now's not the time to mourn.
Seethed Meve, struggling to stay calm.
Now's the time for war, for slaughter, revenge. With victory today, we'll recover our home, return to our kin, and set our blades aside at last. Yet until victory is ours, they must drink. Drink greedily of Nilfgaardian blood!
The Lyrians were at the brink, near their breaking point. They'd followed me for thousands of miles, over snow-clad peaks, through forbidding swamps. They'd fought, survived countless battles at her side. And though their gazes were now weary, she knew they'd follow her into fire.
Your Grace, the Blackclads, they've holed themselves up in the upper keep. We went to breach the wall, alas to no avail.
Meve nodded, twirled her sword, then leapt upon a mount. Her eyes spoke pure determination.
So we'll bloody well try again.
The walls of the upper keep were illuminated by torchlight and the glow of burning buildings. Even in the dark of night, Meve could easily discern the fear-twisted faces of the Nilfgaardian defenders. The queen wiped tears from her cheeks, blackened with ash, and reached for her sword. The time had finally come to drive the Blackclads out, once and for all. Standard battle. Starting in play.
This is the end, Ebdahi. Do you hear me? I shall stick your head
Believe in the power of our starter deck. I do too. No fear. Oh, what? Oh, that's fine. Right, whenever an ally is destroyed, summon another unit from your deck in its place.
Doubt I'll ever pay off
My
these
deck
school
beats Built to
loans.
Beat at all? No, I don't know what his cards do.
I must thank you. Your fortress has superbly solid walls.
I'll use two of these. And hope that that's enough of them. That's annoying.
Abalista, your command.
Didn't have high morale.
Enough.
No.
I do not
Does
need
that matter?
to hear this. Kill her.
Reinforcements number 1. This is short, right?
I'm a war, sir.
Oh, whoops.
One
Oh, I don't want to kill these things. Right. Okay.
Give me it. Abalista, your command. I'm a war, sir. One bolt for my aid.
Okay.
Fools! I'm surrounded by fools!
I feel like we're okay. I mean, I could be wrong, but... I'll try to find the other adept. Feels unnecessary as well.
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Time saver 2-0. I mean, that's the plan. certainly not respecting the fight. Gollem's not in my deck now.
This harvest will be reaping black-clad heads.
Doubt I'll ever
Might actually win this first try. Is that... Oh, okay. Maybe that's a weird thing. I don't know. We will see. Is there like a Scorch in his deck?
Exactly what I do.
My spirit's willing and how, but these damn boots are killing me. My spirit's willing and how, but these damn boots are killing me.
Watch your heads.
We do this. I'm probably gonna be ACing Impera. No rush to use the marching orders.
Wanna know why I got my scar?
Off to the front yet again.
Okay, so let's turn this off. We'll do this. And we'll do this, and then do this. Pass. No, I'm getting another like 100 something points. Why would I pass? May I even make a point difference? I don't know. People in chat were telling me this fight's hard, so maybe it can. Maybe it just wipes my board in round 2 when I passed. Maybe there's like some anti-2-0 mechanic.
What's a helmet if you've got a pot turned over?
None of us are using. Oh, none of you are just like throwing all the points in play? Oh. Why would you not just play points? Points are good, guys.
Yet again.
I will say, I like that he's not roping every turn. That's a good card.
Archers, let it be night. Obscure the sun with arrows.
Wow, that makes up like half of a leader ability. He's only got to double his score in one card and he can do it.
My prescription. A
Close.
bit of blood
Very close.
Where is he? Tell me where!
Nilfgaard had the upper hand, yet the black-clad spirits had suffered. They now made more use of shields than of swords. When Meve finally broke through their line, they raised their arms in surrender. Rivia Castle had fallen. It was hers once more.
Have the 81 point card.
Meve showed her
Man,
prisoners
if only he had
full
81 more
mercy, knowing
points.
full well they'd only followed orders. Death would be the fate of only Ardal Ebdahi, the one Nilfgaardian who
That's all he
was
needed, was 81 more points. And then he could have made up the 250 point gap.
A prisoner revealed Ebdahi had fled as soon as the Lyrians had surged towards the upper keep. He had glided down to the lower castle in a wicker basket for transporting food. Curled up beneath
could just
potato
blame
skins and
Coin
other
Flip.
scraps, he'd scurried away not unlike a common maggot. Meve cursed her luck and leaned back against a merlin. Dawn was yet a few hours off, but the horizon
Man, chat
had
hyped that battle
begun
up
to
so
glow
hard.
blood red. The Nilfgaardian reserves now drew near.
God
too
damn
late
it.
To prevent the castle's fall.
I'll get him.
Muttered the queen, more to herself than anyone else.
I swear on all that's sacred I'll catch the bastard. But now we've a pressing matter to see to. Preparing the defense.
That night, the war turned, with the battle for Rivia Castle as its fulcrum.
You didn't know I was using a starter
Meve's
card?
Great victory, not only retaking
They
the
never gave me
stronghold
anything
in a
better to put in my
single
deck. Why would I take it
also
out?
Fending off a further invading army, proved the Nilfgaardian Colossus had feet of clay. The armies of the north had united and now seemed to be on the attack everywhere. Imperial forces, while still far more numerous, lay stretched over thousands of miles. Their position was untenable, and Nilfgaard's commanders knew this.
Yeah, this is an 80 point
In a
card. It was
decisive
revealed.
battle,
It's
they
been played
yet
in other
stood a
battles.
chance.
It's not the
So
first
they
time we've seen
gave
it.
said battle and suffered a resounding defeat. Just a few months on from
I'm
that
not. I was
memorable
like
night in Rivia,
looking forward
the
to
Imperial
like
army
needing to
was in
warp my
utter
deck to
disarray.
beat the battle.
Aldersburg, the fortress, remained a last point of resistance.
Rather than just like jam all the
General
points I can.
Ebdahi and what had survived of Army Group East had dug in there. This place, where Nilfgaard had triumphed grandly in the war's early days, would now bear witness to its impending defeat. It seems history, after all, has a sense of justice, or humor, or both. Though Meve had already reclaimed her realm, she refused to retire her sword just yet. For King Demavend had requested her aid in purging Edirn of the invader. How could she refuse? She owed the king a favor, firstly. Yet she also had a burning desire to settle the score with Ebdahi.
Demavend's envoy and I spoke, Your Majesty. The king has Aldersburg surrounded. He awaits and won't begin the assault till you arrive.
Good. I truly hate to miss it. Tell the troops to prepare. Gear and ire.
Of course, Your Grace.
Yes? Is there something else?
Pardon my boldness, Your Grace, but I can't help but be concerned. You don't sleep. You've the air of illness about you.
I think back to that night in Rivia often, to Gascon's death. Perhaps I made a mistake. Perhaps he didn't have to die.
He didn't, Your Majesty. He needn't have been there at all. I'm a soldier. I swore to serve you. Gascon, not so. He might have left at any time. Guilt, pity trouble you, Your Grace. I know. But he signed on willingly and knew exactly what for. Gascon gave his life for he thought you worthy of it. There's no greater proof of friendship, no greater gift one can give. Accept it, Your Grace, and remember him with gratitude, not sorrow.
You're right. I thank you, Reynard. That I needed to hear. We've talked enough. We must march on to Aldersburg.
Oh, there's still more. Okay. I'm gonna take a quick restroom break before we continue. I'll be back in like 2 minutes, and then I guess we'll keep playing. Hope you guys stick around. Discord scam still exists when we're playing Gwent, yeah. Not when we're playing single-player games. Just like there's no song requests. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Map. Where am I going? Not that way. The other way.
The Lyrian army had grown into a great serpent. So much so that riding at the column's tail, Meve could not see its head. Footmen, cavalry, and archers stretched like a glistening snake between two horizons. Meve had come a long way indeed, and she felt proud, as did Willem riding at her side. At first, the troops had eyed the prince suspiciously, if not with hatred. But they'd watched him fight for weeks now, and saw him as one of their own. Suddenly, Meve heard angry cries and the clash of steel against steel, all at the column's front.
Those ranks! To the left! Man's left! Support the flank!
Meve drew her sword, spurred her horse, and galloped forward along the line of troops. Then, through the swirling battle dust, she spotted shimmering golden suns.
Meve drew her sword, yet did not rush headlong into the heat of battle as she would once would have. Old wounds and lasting traumas still nagged her, and besides, enough blood had already been spilt. The queen awaited the day when she could finally exchange her heavy armor for an elegant dress and her saddle for a throne. Maybe this is the hardest fight in the game. Maybe this is the one.
Surround them! Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
Oh, wait, what? Oh. These aren't scary.
New orders? No? Ah.
Aye.
Must be an important lesson in this. But what?
Watch your heads!
101, 102, 103.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
152, 154.
Should have listened to me, old lady. There's a time to reap, a time to sow, to die.
Hey, don't toss that. It's perfectly usable.
I smell a leak.
I'm a racer.
Me.
Scheiß in tank! Tomorrow I drink with our forefathers!
Ain't that right?
So, I think Mr. Opponent's not gonna have very many points. So many games where you use the same tactic, our opponent didn't include a urine in their day. Yeah, you would think. Oh no, our opponent has points! I couldn't remove them all.
Mercy! Have mercy!
Normally disciplined, determined to an extreme, these Nilfgaardians quickly broke rank and ran.
Deserters! Leaderless, Your Grace.
A scout reported.
Headed south they was, towards the frontier.
Chained prisoners now sat along the dusty road. Neve stopped in front of one. He was ragged and unshaven. Flies had taken an interest in his poorly bandaged hand. Spotting the queen, he lowered his head and quivered with terror.
I know you take us for savages.
Began Meve, her gaze passing over several scraggy black-clads.
But fear not. We shan't flay you alive nor eat you for dinner. And when a truce is signed, you'll be sent home. where I most sincerely hope you'll stay this time.
As the queen mounted her horse, she barely concealed a grimace. Her thighs were sore and chafed, her hands raw from the reins. But she bit her lip and rode on, for the prize was now very near.
Was in Aldersburg when it fell. Broke my heart, that did. But not complete. Now we'll take it back. Other kings could learn a thing or two. It was we who were to offer lit. Was in Aldersburg when it fell. Broke my heart, that did.
Well, lady, as you can see, the residents of Aedirn are giving their every effort to rebuild their ruined homes, yet they lack the proper materials. They ask if you'd be willing to trade lumber in exchange for items they've scavenged from the nearby battlefields. What shall you tell them? Yeah, just take it. I don't need it anymore.
The good mothers guided you to victory.
A new cemetery, one of many that have appeared in the area. Most of the dead have not been identified, their graves unnamed. Our soldiers have requested we light candles in their honor. Are you willing to set aside some of your coffers for this purpose, Your Grace? Yeah, sure.
Nilfgaard angered the entire Nilfgaard.
Is there a reason to fully upgrade the camp? I should see if there's anything going on in here.
How do you fare, my son? My advisors, have you met them?
I certainly tried, but they've no wish to speak with me. Begin to mumble when I draw near. Even the ridiculously reverent Count Reynard.
Well, suspicion must still grip their minds. And for good reason, you must admit.
Yes. I've got a lot of work ahead of me, that's plain to see.
And you shall get to it straight away. As soon as we've spoken. Your reforms. Tell me about them. You insist that I not repeal them. They must be a source of pride.
Mother, why must you mock me? If you wish, I shall tell you of my decrees, gladly so. Yet not dare you scoff them and ridicule me.
If there's any merit to them, you've naught to fear. Now tell me.
I began by clarifying key aspects of the rights of spoil and staple.
Meve listened intently and with rising interest. With her son's every word, her skepticism waned, giving way to swelling pride.
And thence my decision to revoke Sparless trade privileges. You stand quiet, Mother. Awfully so.
There are few things I enjoy less than admitting I was wrong. We'll go over it all again, Willem, in detail, when peace comes, at a meeting of the Council of Peers. General at Dahi, you must tell me more about him. I think it wise to know one's foes.
Actually, Mother, he reminds me of you, in many ways.
Truly? You're serious?
Mm-hmm. He's proud, confident, and positively loathes compromise.
I'll take that as a compliment. But do we differ in any way? I mean, besides the beard.
Contempt. He behaves as though he sees in us a different, lower race. The way some elves do. All the north he treats as a wilderness to be tamed, to be broken.
I saw this in Aedirn. I know what you speak of.
I don't think we saw
But
answers.
I won't allow him to do anything of the sort.
Mother, I know Nilfgaard has not defeated you in battle. I know you've gone from one victory to the next, but I beg you, don't underestimate him. He's prepared to do anything, literally to win.
I wanted to thank you.
But whatever for?
For your courage in believing we could reconcile. For extending a hand and helping all this fall into place. I wouldn't have done so. Ever. I would have fought it to the bitter end.
Mother, I understand.
If we hadn't, well, what might have happened? I don't even want to think about it.
Then don't, please. Let's just leave this all behind us. It's the past.
We shall speak later, my son. Arnulf, find a place at one of the tables. Have a drink. Meet my men.
Think there's been a failure to communicate, lass? I didn't join your army to meet men, but to meet death. A good, honourable death. Quicker you lead me to that,
the better.
I wish not to pry, but why do you long for death?
For only death can cleanse me of shame. You must have heard what they call me. Arnulf the Patricide. A moniker I earned. Oh, I did.
To die by one's child's hand. A terrible fate. And it shall be mine as well if I lose this war.
But did you earn it, this fate?
What? Not always have I been just with Willem. I dismissed him, neglected him, but...
Neglected? Listen, lass. My da, he beat me. Till my skin turned blue and I chucked red bile. He'd drink and beat, drink and beat. My brother, Ulf, da clobbered him to death. My ma, she took her own life. Never met this son of yours. But I know yous a bit now, and I can say this. No kin of yours needs slaying.
I can't help but wonder, what does it signify? The tattoo on your head?
Ain't a tattoo. Carved these runes with a knife.
The method makes little difference. What do they mean?
Aim here. Message for enemy archers. Alas, don't seem they can read it.
Fuck.
At least not from a distance. And when they get close, it's already too late for them.
The war nears its end.
Sadly.
Sadly, why?
I survived. Again. Rebuild your land, Queen. Enjoy your life. Me and my men, we'll be moving on.
Arnulf, in Lyria and Rivia, your past matters not. Nor does your shame. Stay.
Stop laughing. He's just way too one-dimensional. I can't not laugh.
When the time comes, I yearn to sit at their table, lass, and drink mead in their company. So go I must.
So long, Arnulf.
Your Grace, I wished once more to express my gratitude for your show of mercy.
I showed mercy, true, but felt much more. Anger, pain, now resentment. You hurt me, Reynard. Wounded me to the bloody core. I don't know what else to say on the matter, so
survived the leader arc culling.
As you wish, Your Grace.
Amazing.
The war nears its end. What next for Reynard Odo?
Whatever you command, Your Grace. Is something amiss, my lady?
It's nothing, Reynard. Unimportant. It's time I attended to other matters.
Talk to Knickers. I've tried, he just barks. Or growls.
I'm pleased to see you again, Mom. You need something?
The war's near its end. The future, what does it hold for you, Isabel? Wise counsel will always find a place at my court.
A tempting offer, Mom.
Yeah, you missed
I shall stay.
The big
But
showdown.
on one condition. You're never to force me to wear shoes.
These terms I can agree to. Duty calls. I must go.
Of course. Should you need me, I'll be here.
Niamh was listening to a scout's report when screams suddenly burst from the prisoner transport. In a moment, Niamh bore witness to a truly macabre sight. The Nilfgaardian captives to whom she had recently been merciful lay dead, massacred in cold blood among the camp's tents.
I was thinking you get an achievement.
Seethed the queen, looking at the bloodied corpses. Those responsible for the deed, peasants from the quarry at Ravencloft, Niamh had welcomed into her ranks. The harm they'd endured from Nilfgaardians wielding whips. This was what had festered in their hearts and minds. The Rivians couldn't accept that their oppressors had gone unpunished. So they took matters into their own hands, in defiance of the queen.
There's fiends, not folk!
Cried the peasants, now armed and in uniform.
They was owed this, plain and simple.
It had been justice by a mob, and Niamh knew it should not go unpunished. Yet at the last, ignoring her advisor's counsel, She left the former slaves' fate for their commanders to decide. For the Queen had grown weary of choosing between two evils, each one darker than the other.
Long live Meve! Long live the Queen! Long live our liberator!
What? Hello? Whatever. Okay, fine. We'll do the achievement stuff. I don't even have enough resources. We can do this. Do this. This costs a ton of wood. Yeah, that's not happening. Oh, I can trade gold for wood. Maybe it is happening. That. What's the thing? I have to exit and re-enter. What did it say it was? Trading post? Middle? Ah, there it is. There it is. 400 for 100. I think I'm still gonna be short. Stuff in the workshop too. Yeah, I don't have enough. I'm out of wood. And I don't have gold to give away to people when they ask for it.
Meve noticed one of her scouts, a certain Corporal Larkin, halt his mount and train his gaze on the woods.
Your Grace, I thought I heard
I'll
something.
play Hearts down after this.
Whisper?
Not immediately. Maybe later this week.
It's all gone quiet.
We'll see.
I think I might have imagined it, in fact.
Imagined?
Meve placed her hand on his shoulder.
No one has sharper senses than you. If you claim to have heard something, it's worth a closer look.
Corporal Larkin saluted, then rode past the trees. Suddenly in shadow, he keenly scanned his surroundings. Something caught his attention. He dismounted, then brushed aside ferns, exposing tracks made in the mud.
Your Majesty!
He shouted, quickly turning towards the road.
Sound the alarm! It's Scoia'd!
An arrow whisked through the air, pierced his throat, and suddenly silenced him. Then the forest came alive with cries in the Elder tongue. Elves on the attack.
Oh no! Meve cursed under her breath. Did Scoia tell hatred know no bounds? The war had already been lost. Nilfgaard, who supported their cause against the northern kingdoms, had retreated beyond the Yaruga. By attacking the Queen's army, the elves must have known there stood nothing to gain. That is, other than the heads of enemy Dwan.
It's a trap! 2 arms!
Special prize. Just for you, love.
Doubt I'll ever pay off these school loans.
As you wish, my lady.
willing and how, but these damn boots are killing me.
May your sword and arm be one.
So I have to do this now.
There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die. There's a time to reap, a time to sow, and a time to die.
I shall not fail!
I was hoping you'd say that.
Oh, Lady Margarita told us of this.
None shall tread on us!
Wait, what? Isn't this supposed to come down on my side? Oh, it was summoned with the Hawker. Nice synergy.
Something from nothing. It's exactly what I do.
One bolt. Give me a target. Our ballista, your command. Armor won't serve.
Oh no, I've run out of row space. What am I gonna do?
Oh my.
Renna! Stop! We surrender!
The Scoia'tael fighters stood no chance against Meve. When the sounds of battle finally ceased, the Queen, victorious, tossed aside her arrow-studded shield. She then ordered the commando's leader brought before her. She'd expected a ranter who would turn up his nose, spit in her face, and cry, "Death to all Dwan!" But the bloodied elf before her was no arrogant firebrand. He averted his gaze, and his lips gently trembled.
Youthful you look, elf. How many summers to you? 30? More?
27, my lady.
27. A wonderful age. A shame to die so young.
I beg you, Renna. For mercy, I ask. If not for me, then at the least for...
Mercy? You jest. You wait in ambush, come at us like bandits, and now you dare ask for mercy.
It was no ambush.
Don't play me for a fool. I know what I saw, and am no stranger to warcraft.
It's not you we wished to fight. Sverre.
Then who killed Corporal Larkin, Werebubs?
When we saw you on the high road, we fell back and hid in the wood. We wanted you to pass. Your scout's hearing very keen. He heard something, then spotted our tracks. You must understand. We had no choice.
What?
You know you might have surrendered.
Like Dristan's commando. Is that what you mean? They laid down their arms before an Edirnian general, who ordered them hanged. One and all. If we're to die, we prefer to die bows and swords in hand.
Why are you here? Were you to rescue Epdahi?
Rescue someone? No, Renna. We flee. The Nilfgaardians have realized they'll lose the war and have renounced us. Without their support, we stand no chance. Demavend has loosed his hounds. They hunt our units one by one. He's offered 50 gold pieces for the head of each Scoia'tael. It's the same in Temeria and Kedwen, if not worse. We wish to join with Yorveth's unit, flee together as far as we could. It was our last hope.
Why do you tell me all this?
Because you listen still. You've not ordered me killed, so you've clearly a heart. Eseth Aina Eddu. I beg you. So few of us remain, all tired, all wounded. We pose no threat. Let us leave your realm. Let us flee.
Whatever, man. I'm on my victory
Enough
lap.
senseless killing for one day. So be it. You're free to leave.
I don't know how to thank you.
Make certain I don't ever regret this decision. 'Twould be thanks enough.
I thank you for your compassion.
It's not like his ambush did anything.
Towards me
All his allies
and
died in the
all my
battle.
folk.
Meve personally unfastened the prisoner's chains as her Lyrians looked on in silence. They did not approve, this was clear. Their displeasure was palpable.
Wait, I don't lose morale for that? I'm so confused at this morale system.
It'd be an honor to fight at your side, Majesty.
Where am I going?
Side by side.
Long live! Long live!
There's a thing here. Oh, there it is. There it is.
The Lyrian corps neared Aldersburg, and it could not have been on a more idyllic day. The sun shone, birds sang, trees rustled in a light breeze.
I can see it.
But Meve saw it as she had at the war's start. Walls illumined by a fire's glow, the cries of fleeing civilians, the stench of burning flesh. As on that day, Aldersburg was under siege. At this time, Eden's flags fluttered in the field, while Nilfgaard's tattered sons crowned the fort's towers. The Queen found Demavend's tent without difficulty. Made of sheets of silk edged with silver thread, it positively shone.
Seems the realm's restored to a virtuous path,
muttered Meve.
Aha! There she is! Queen Meve, savior of the North, the Sun Slayer.
Mockery I don't appreciate.
I wouldn't dare. Not my words, those. You've been painted thus in song. Master Dandelion himself wrote a ballad, The Battle for the Bridge. If you take the bard at his word, you're as fierce with a blade as any witcher.
Is that jealousy I hear?
To be perfectly honest, Meve, it is. For I hadn't the pluck, nor resolve. And when all the North tuck-tail went to shite, you alone stepped up and bared your fangs. Let it be a lesson for the future to us all.
You called out the future. Tell me, how's your son?
Baldwin. Ah, growing like a weed he is. And the spitting image of his old man.
Good news all, especially given the mother's profession.
She's now Countess Demeretta of Gullet, a the lady of the court.
Ooh, your lawful wife must be thrilled.
Hard to say in truth. I've not seen her in some time. Duty keeps me away, you understand.
You work hard, I'm certain. Many a night, too.
You might say so indeed. But enough about me. As we're chirping away like two gossips in the field, do tell me, what of Willem?
He's here with me.
Ah. In chains, perhaps?
No. In coronet and robes. We came to an understanding. What's past is past. A lesson for the future? What do you mean?
My dear, this war won't change a bloody thing, you know. Nilfgaard will be Nilfgaard, the North the North. We'll sign a truce, the Blackclads will turn tail towards home. But the old borders don't satisfy a soul.
I'm perfectly satisfied with them, thank you. And I just wish other folk would respect them too.
You're one hell of a warrior. But you're no strategist at all. Your perspective, you've got to broaden it. Nilfgaard, we cannot allow it to regain strength and spirit. Else we'll face another invasion within a decade or two. Measures are required. Preventive, preemptive, whatever the learned call it. Build an army, a vast one. Wait in ambush. And when they least expect it, break their bloody spine. Just think, if we were to join forces...
Enough. I don't wish to hear it. Won't even entertain the thought. I'll help you take Aldersburg, but then I'll go home, where, God's willing, I'll live to a ripe old age.
As you wish. We can mount the assault at any time, but...
But?
My scouts report a small Nilfgaardian force approaching from the south. They've stayed off the roads. Moved only under the cover of night. Escorting someone.
Who?
I've no notion. Could be a mage. Devilishly unpredictable, that lot. Could wreak havoc in our ranks. Either way, before we rush at the
Nilfgaard
walls,
finally gonna have
we
tar
must
removal?
make certain they don't reach Aldersburg at all.
I shall see to it.
Are you sure? You've just arrived. Must be weary after the long journey.
An understatement if I ever heard one. But I wish all this to be over, quickly.
Neve set out after the Nilfgaardians immediately, a cavalry escort in tow. Her unmatched scouts, who had led the army through the mountains of Mahakam and Angren swamps, quickly found the enemy's trail.
This way, Your Grace. It's not far now.
That very same day, Meve's force caught up to the mysterious black-clad unit. Lyrian riders surrounded the foe, forcing the Nilfgaardians to halt. All fell so quiet, the creaking of taut Lyrian bowstrings could be discerned.
The common tongue. Which of you knows it?
I do, Your Majesty.
You also know who you deal with, I see. What is your name?
Kaldvin, Your Majesty.
At last. A Nilfgaardian name I can pronounce. So, Kaldwin, it seems this war will reach its end in 2 days' time at the most. 'Twould be silly to die today, wouldn't you agree?
It would, milady.
Precisely. I've spilled enough blood. I've lost the appetite for more. So, provided you don't give me a good reason to kill you, you'll walk away with your lives. Now tell me. You carry something for General Ebdahi. What is it?
A letter.
Urgent to the point of insanity, it must be. Who wrote it? The dear Madam Ebdahi?
No, Your Majesty. The Emperor.
My. A letter from Emir himself. You must be an important person. A noble, or... Yet your uniform is simple, with no discernible distinctions. Who are you truly, Coldwin? A spy?
A simple messenger, Your Majesty.
Don't lie. I know messengers, how they travel. Alone, armorless, atop a swift steed. You're escorted by cavalry of the heavy sort.
For I often carry orders the recipients don't wish to perform, thus the escort.
Give me the letter.
I've sworn to deliver it to General Ebdahi, or to die in the quest to do so.
Oh, very well. My translator shall read this letter, then return it to you. You shall break no vow, and who knows? You might even survive.
And if I refuse?
Guess.
So be it.
I accept your offer.
Meave's translator cracked the seal and read. And as he read, his eyes grew wide as saucers. Then he whispered in the Queen's ear.
Truly? And you're certain you're not mistaken? The wonders of this world. Caldwin, consider this your lucky day. I allow you to complete your mission, with one proviso.
And that is?
That when you hand him the letter, you will give the General my regards.
As Caldwin and escort set off towards Aldersburg, the Lyrian soldiers looked at their queen with disbelief. To leave a Nilfgaardian to fulfill a secretive task? Meave failed to stifle a rather mean laugh. They'll understand tomorrow, she thought. General Epdahi had prefaced Lyria's and Rivia's invasion with a series of arrogant demands. The Nilfgaardian had been impudent, as he had felt sure he'd achieve a quick and decisive victory. Yet several months on, he too received an ultimatum. One signed by Emperor Emir var Emreis himself. The missive was concise and left no room for interpretation. With General Epdahi dead, the Nilfgaardian army descended into chaos. The kings of the north, united, took advantage and struck at the foe. Their victory was complete. The Nordling forces cheered their commanders and monarchs, but for none so vehemently as the one queen among them. Many dream of achieving the impossible. Meave had done it. Through wit, determination, and boldness, she had thwarted the Nilfgaardian invasion. The queen would rule for many more years. Stern, yet ever just.
Ha! So a lass saved the North from the Blackclads?
That is one way to put it.
Well, I'll be damned. And a chap, she find herself one in the end?
Leave it be. Bloke's been spinning the tale all night. Story's done. Time we got some shut-eye.
Yes.
Hey, Ferksy.
Particularly.
Morning, friends.
A long road
Zeros.
before us.
Welcome back.
Phew. Throat must be parched as old leather after all that. Except, I'm itching to know what happened to the lot of them. Reynard, Gascon.
Ah, very well. Whom shall we start with? Willem? He worked hard to regain his mother's trust and respect. Took on many daring missions
This is
regardless
Thronebreaker.
of the risks.
The hardest difficulty.
The lad who Nilfgaard had wielded as a tool now sowed terror along its borders, and appeared a successor most worthy of Meave. Meave spared no expense in bidding Gascon farewell. His peer lords themselves bore the casket,
hardest in a...
and soldiers in parade dress beat the funeral drums.
The
Duke
airiest of air
Dogs,
quotes.
a marauder, was interred with honors befitting the truest of royals. Though Nilfgaard owed its defeat chiefly to Meave, in the Empire her name was uttered with utmost respect. Returning soldiers spoke in awed tones of her courage and generosity, referring to her as Gvedin, the tenacious one. With the advent of peace, tensions waned. Lyria's and Rivia's disparate races seemed to live harmoniously, side by side. The Queen pressed for new laws aimed at curbing oppression. They were a step towards more enlightened...
Chat said I'd get the worst
but
ending.
sadly were habitually broken. And Meave? As I said, she ruled with an iron hand, not fist, and with her son's unwavering support. She could now trust him again. A great victory, greater even than Rivia's liberation. And now, if you'd allow me...
Course. Leave him be, lads. Let him get some rest. Till the time comes for the next tale.
Wow. No next tale. It never came. Oh god. No more tails. First and last tail. There's so much potential. Yeah. I don't know. The game was, like, clearly meant to promote
Letting
Gwent.
Gascon die makes it the worst, and that's obvious.
But I wouldn't say it did a very good job at that. Hey, Whispering Hillock, thanks for the 4 months. Welcome back. Like, as good as the story was, as cool as some of the puzzles were, the gameplay was pretty bad. Game would have been so good. Yeah, like, when the thing you're trying to promote is the worst part of the game. Ugh. I'll just make the next game a visual novel. Yeah, I think the game would be better off if they just went full visual novel with it. Maybe kept some of the puzzles if they really wanted to have some gameplay. But probably even fewer puzzles than they had in this one, because it seems like they ran out of ideas in a lot of sections. There were some really bad puzzles. Can we have vote for what next I shall play? I mean, it'll probably just be Hearts of Stone or Blood and Wine. I don't know which one I'm supposed to do first. I spent 6 months porting to New Gwent 2. That might have been part of the problem. Where they had the game ready to go with the old Gwent, and then they redid Gwent, and some of the old puzzles didn't make sense anymore. They had to, like, shoehorn orders into everything. Oh man, that's a huge revamp. The order mechanic seemed ingrained in just about everything. Nobody would buy a second Thronebreaker. I mean, the people that liked Thronebreaker a lot. What would I rate Thronebreaker out of 10? I mean, what if you like break it down into categories? The story was good. Put the story at like an 8 or a 9. It was fine. The gameplay like a 2 or a 3. Some of the puzzles went pretty well. Like, the good puzzles were like 10 out of 10 puzzles, but there weren't very many of them. And there were a lot of just like straight ones. Yeah, the writing was great. The voice acting was great. There's a lot of voice acting, too. When I'm saying, like, the story, I mean, like, the whole story experience. The voice acting, the art, the prose, all that stuff. The music was great, yeah. Thronebreaker sold like shit, though. Yeah. Yeah. A lot into the game, just needed more people working on the gameplay. I don't think the gameplay problem is an easy one to solve. Like, if you're trying to market Gwent through the game, the fact that Gwent just inherently takes so long to play a game, because you got the whole 3 rounds that you gotta fight through, You either need to have a really good AI to make things really engaging, or you have to have a lot of diverse mechanics. Like, I don't think making the gameplay good is as easy as just, like, throwing more people at it. Most single-player card games are just boring. Yeah. I mean, Slay the Spire is sort of a single-player card game, but it's more of a roguelike than a card game. I imagine if you could deck build and Slay the Spire, that would trivialize the content. Hearthstone's dungeon runs are the same idea. You solve that problem by making it a roguelike and removing deck building. I don't know, it's really hard to make battles to design a game where, like, you need to do something different for each battle, especially for Gwent. Because, like, in the end, the game is just about points, right? They could have had, like, some enemies have tar removal. Like, seeing some scorches out of the enemy would be kind of cool. Make it so that you actually had to build your deck differently for each fight. But, like, at the same time, that gets tedious. Because the fights are so long. So you spend, like, 10 minutes losing a fight, and then you build your deck and you beat it the next time through. It's not an easy problem to solve. I don't know. There's trade-offs. I don't know. Yeah, that was weird, too. You couldn't, like, build multiple decks. You couldn't switch decks in the battle screen. You had to, like, reload from checkpoint and then go back to the battle, click through the cutscenes. I mean, cards were valued higher than in old Gwent, too. The values are insane in this game. Yeah. There's no moment where you did the math, just point, slam, and hope. It wasn't even like point, slam, and hope. It was point, slam, and win by 200. That's what made some of the fights, like the Gurnikora fight was cool. Like, the more puzzly fights tended to be the more interesting fights. I don't think there was a single 3-round battle in the game, aside from maybe the bridge battle, that was interesting. It was the hard mode version. Yeah, the lag was brutal too. It would be one thing if, like, the AI made decisions and, like, had to think in order to make good plays. But, like, it would take forever and then still do dumb shit. It seemed like... I don't know. I guess I have to play on the easy mode to know, like, exactly what the hard mode did. All the armor at the end of the game seemed to just, like, invalidate some strategies and force you more towards the already better point slammy stuff. Like, when all the enemy's units have 10 armor to start out with, why deal damage to their stuff when you can just put a ton of points in play? How many achievements? I have no idea. We'll check when we load up Gwent. What are you gonna do now? I think we're playing Gwent for a while. Hardest puzzle, the cooking one. Fucking puzzle. It did. The hardest part of most of the puzzles in the game was just reading all of the pieces. Once you understood what everything did, the puzzles tended to be pretty easy. There were a couple that weren't, but for the most part, that was the case. I hated the moving Gaskin puzzles. It seemed so dumb. I think we're gonna play ladder for a couple hours. Imagine moving the Gaskin puzzles with 6 rows, but they were a lot better. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. God, how many people are on this team? While you're watching the credits of a video game? I mean, we're talking about the game while watching the credits. It's like a window to summarize the experience. No, there's marketing people. There's definitely marketing people. Marketing team's fired by now. I don't know. What are the Steam reviews like? What do they say? Great game. Bugs you that you checked out Gwent after playing this. Now you're locked. Oh, sure. The puzzles were too hard for my pea brain, so I had to YouTube all of them. Huh. I mean, people on Steam seem to generally like the gameplay. %90 positive reviews. A lot of the negative reviews just talking about not getting the stuff in Gwent when you buy it on Steam. If you really enjoyed Gwent and you're really good at card puzzles, then this is the game for you. I'm a pretty good Gwent strategist, but I hate math-based puzzles. It's a good game for what it is. A card/puzzle game. I didn't realize just how much was going to be puzzle-based. Oh my. Oh no, I can't read these. It hurts. It hurts! Card games and puzzles appeal to a very specific audience. It's just like... the puzzles were the interesting part of the game. I can't imagine finding the 3-round battles fun. people worked on this game? Why are the credits still going? What the fuck? Puzzles getting easier is the main problem with them. Yeah, like the puzzles in the first chapter, for the most part, like I think there's like 1 or 2 in chapter 1 that like weren't cool. But like once we got to like chapter 4 or 5, I don't think there was a single good puzzle. It's like they had 10 puzzles for the whole game, but had to stretch it to like 30. I would not solve the puzzle so quickly if discourage from hand was not possible. But it is possible. Discourage from hand has been a thing. Not quite since I started playing, but close. It's possible some of those puzzles were made before discard from hand was a thing. I'm not sure how long Thronebreaker was in development. This is insane. I didn't even know Poland had this many people. Poland population 37.98 million. So like 2/3 of them worked on Thronebreaker. Hey! I think we've made it through. Oh. Okay, wait. That's... No. Don't replay. Did they not expect anyone to sit through all of the credits? Congratulations, victory is yours. The Nilfgaardian Empire has been defeated and driven from the Northern Realms. 23 hours and 4 minutes. 46 quests completed, 15 standard battles won, 31 puzzles completed. 19 of 42 golden chests, 268 crates, 22 recruits, 13 shrines.